Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to Kiki and Kibitz, take two. I am back for my Love After Lockup recap, and I'm sure that you guys recognize this lovely, lovely young lady on my right. Hi, Kimberly. Thank you for
Right.
joining me today.
Absolutely. I'm super excited. This was a great episode.
Yes, it is. Yes, it definitely is. So, I have to ask you, how is it seeing yourself on TV after all those weeks of filming and 12-hour days, and then you finally get to sit down and watch the episode? What's going through your head?
I remember exactly where I was in each of these moments. And some of them are pretty accurately portrayed, and some of them it's like, did I really look that bad?
And now you said the cameraman had the perfect knack of finding the wrong angle.
Yes, 100%. I'm extremely tall for a female. Like I'm 5'10". So if you go ahead and go down here, this is what you're gonna get.
So, what made you decide to sign up for the show?
It was actually it was a joke. When he was locked up
Girl,
on Friday nights, like we would sit together and we would watch the show. And we would,
okay.
talk. I've watched this show for years anyway, for obvious
Okay,
reasons.
so who's your favorite past couple?
I have several.
Okay,
Brittany and
tell me.
Marcelino are my all-time favorites, but Lindsay is I love her. I love Lindsay because
She was on my recap
I
last
didn't
week.
ever know what she was going to do next, and I love it. I love that she is just authentically Lindsay, and she didn't give a fuck who liked it and who didn't.
And that is Lindsay for you.
I love it.
I love Lindsay. I love her. So, okay, so you were a big fan of the show. You used to watch the show, and you
We were
decided,
watching
hey,
it. Yeah, we were watching it one Friday night, like on the phone, because he called me nonstop. I meant that, like literally from 6 a.m. until 11 p.m. when they had to get off the phone. I talked to him all day, and so we sat on Friday nights and we would talk about the show and laugh. And one night, at the end of it, if you or someone and he dared me, don't do
so it
that.
started off as a dare.
It was a dare.
Okay.
It was a dare, and then they called me the next day, and I was like, what? So I
You
kind of
said,
laughed
Joey,
about it.
guess what?
I kind of laughed about it, and I was like, "Hey, babe, guess what?" And he was like, "No, they didn't." I said, "Yeah, they did." And then I didn't hear from him for a few months, and literally, it was like 3 months later, I got an email, and it was like, "Hey, are you still interested?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm not sure. Am I?"
maybe. Maybe.
So at that point, it was kind of like, "Oh, what the hell?"
Why not? Why the heck not? So we're gonna leave the best for last. We're gonna leave you and Joey for last. We're gonna get into it all that's happened so far this season. And it's only we're like 4 episodes into the season, and we've gotten a lot.
It's
There
been
has
long.
been a lot to dig into. So we're gonna leave the best for last, okay? We're gonna
Okay,
start off with Zaria and Troy. Okay.
love
I
them.
had the pleasure of interviewing them. They're an adorable couple. They're
They,
a little quirky. Saria's a little quirky. I mean, the JJ steamer last week, I had, I was thinking
I
maybe
was
do I need
dying.
one?
I was dying. I'm thinking Joey would never. He would never. He would never.
Gonna say, but Joey sit out of a JJ
He
steamer,
would never do that. So mad props to her for getting Troy to do it. You go, girl.
right? Exactly. So she got her prayers answered. Him. Okay, she prayed to God really, really hard. I
I'm
mean,
gonna tell
that's
you,
a very unusual prayer, but I
it was
guess
an
it worked.
unusual prayer, but if you are married to that man, that is a forever thing. So I was so happy for her when I found out that she is
Yeah.
satisfied. You go.
Yep. It is not small. It's not small. She's happy. She's
Thank you.
very, very happy. So they get to her place, and her son is overjoyed.
It's so sweet. It's the sweetest thing. He
He
was
can't
so
stop
excited, like
dancing.
genuinely excited to see him.
Yes. Yes. Which we're going to get into the scene with your boys and Joey and how sweet that was. But he was so happy he couldn't stop dancing. Okay, he got some gifts from dad. He's like overjoyed, and I'm just like, I hope everything works out because the
Same.
children, are the ones that get
Yeah.
latched on, and I'm like, oh. So that was a sweet moment. But then he learned that he was gonna have to deal with his mother on his first full day out. And Zaria, I get that she had good intentions, but I didn't like the fact that and she even admitted that Troy's mother, you have to take her in spurts. So why are you shoving her onto Troy his first full day out?
His first day. I was just thinking to myself, like, I don't know if I would have done that on like his first day, like full day out. Like, by the
Right,
way, somebody that you have complete resentment for, and is probably part of the reason you ended up where you were, go get her. We're going to hang out with her.
right. And she's gonna spend the night,
Oh, yeah.
right?
That was a lot. That was a lot.
And I get that she has good intentions. She's your mom, and you only have one mom, but I mean, you could see like the look on Troy's face. He was like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, why are you making me do this? So he goes to pick up his mom, and they reunite. And I just want to say one thing: his mother has style. Okay, her style is like, I was like, look at her. Thank you so much, Philly Fox. We haven't seen you in a bit. Where have you been, buddy? Thank you so much for the super chat. So he sees his mom. His mom is like overjoyed, she's crying. She hasn't seen her baby
Yeah.
in so long.
That was
And
really sweet. Too.
and he asked, but Mom, why didn't you come see me? All those years, you didn't see me once. And she admitted that she had a problem with alcohol. And it was the
You know
alcohol.
what? I was expecting that, like him going to get her to not be as sweet. Like I think he like felt good about it too once he got there. So maybe she did the right thing.
Right. Right. So, but the thing that made me laugh, well, kind of laugh, when she was like, when he asked his mom if she would have a relationship with Zaria, and she's like, well, don't force it. If it wasn't for Zaria, you wouldn't have this moment with your son.
This girl
Because
literally invited you into his life on day one. Are you for
exactly,
real?
because leave it up to Troy, he would not be reaching out to his mama. I know
No,
he eventually he would, but
eventually.
not on day one.
No, I mean, he said like that should be the last person I see.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
So
exactly. Yeah.
I don't feel like she was as thankful for that opportunity maybe as she should have been.
Yes. I think she should have been a little more grateful. So, and speaking of people that should be a little more grateful, in my opinion, Trante and True. Because I just wanted to slap the shit out of True this episode. I'm
He's a
sorry. He is. He's a mess. He is a teenage boy in a big grown man ass body. Okay, because that man is huge. He is big.
he's a big
Okay,
boy.
he's a big boy, but he has the mentality of an 18-year-old. And Shantae has
Yeah,
teenagers,
exactly.
right? So
Yeah.
when she sees him acting up, her motherly side is going to come out whether you like it or not.
Right.
Right?
Bless her heart.
If you're going to act like a fucking teenager, we're going to treat you like we're your mom because you're acting like a teenager when you're supposed to be a grown ass man. So in the beginning of the episode, she's frustrated as fuck with him over the parole thing. Okay.
He's got
And
to take that serious though.
right,
Like
what
that's
is
a
wrong?
big deal. Those are the people that can put you back in there. What are you doing?
Thank you. Between him not taking parole seriously and Daniel, I'm not going to live in a halfway house, but we're going to get that. We're going to get to that in a minute. What is it with these guys? Like, you need to take this shit
Those
seriously.
are the people that can put you back in prison. Like,
Exactly. So Shantae is frustrated with him. They get back to the Airbnb, okay, and you know, True decides, to have a talk with her, and he's like, we're gonna take a step down in our relationship. We're gonna go from
what is that?
engaged, right?
You just got home and now all of a sudden you're going to take a step back.
It's day two. Okay, it's day two. Like, hello. So, like, what is wrong with you? So he's gonna, take a step down and just go with the flow. If he said go with the flow one more time, I wanted to reach for the TV and make the fucking blood flow out of his nose or something. Like, it's let's just go with the
On
flow.
day 2 out of prison, what is go with the flow? You don't have a flow yet.
Exactly.
Like, that
Exactly.
girl has given you the world. I was mm, mm.
Almost 3 years of her life,
3 years of her life,
30,000.
a ton of money, been there for you, held you down. She's not been with anybody else. She's not cheating. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Like,
But his
come on.
advice, okay, because True was like so full of advice this episode, I'm like, shut up. So he says, listen, ladies, for those who are dating anybody that's incarcerated, make sure you go see your man in prison. Those visits are really important. What do you think about that? Because he's saying that the reason why him and Shante are having these problems on day 2 is because they never got to see each other in person and interact. As if she would have came up for a 4-hour visit, she would have seen.
I know personally those visits are very important, but I feel like that is some shit you should have told her a long fucking time ago. Like, if that's how you felt, those are conversations you should have had with her then when it was something that she could do. Like, we're too late. We're past that. Move on.
Exactly. Exactly. So he's like, we don't know each other, very well, and how, we both are. He called her a homebody and boring, which she went on live today and she cleared up because I was wondering about this myself. Her energy level seems so low, like just her demeanor and her energy.
It
And
does.
I'm like, why isn't she like, flipping out, yelling out? She just seemed like so low energy. She
Yeah.
has
I
lupus.
talk to her a lot, and like, I know that, she has flare ups. Like, sometimes she's sick.
Right, right. So apparently she wasn't feeling well and she
Yeah.
was having, low energy. And that's why we see her the way she is on screen now. Because True is talking about, okay, we're going to go with the flow. I'm going to go out now. But I'm going to parole with you back to independent. Kim, if you were put in that situation, okay, where,
You better find some fucking where else to go.
thank you. Thank you.
I wish he would have come home and told me that. No, hell no. Uh-uh. You better find somebody else to deal with you, because I'm not the one.
I
Or the
just
truth.
wish that Shantae was more emotional and told him what she was really thinking than trying to be so stoic. Oh no, I'm cool. Everything's okay. I'm
Yeah.
cool. Because he's like, oh,
You know
it's
what?
such a
That shit is a
relief
whole
now.
different level of hurt. Like, I can't imagine how bad that hurt. You know what I mean? Like,
Right?
and some people just don't come out with that like others. Like me, I'm coming straight out with it. But maybe I mean, you saw her. She was crying. Like, she was
I
hurt.
know.
That
She
shit hurt.
hurt. That should hurt. And I wanted to go with the flow and make the blood flow out of his nose or something. It's like, shut
I
up
just wanted
already,
to pop
True.
him in
Like,
the head. Like,
are you
boy, what are you doing? This
right?
girl is down for you. What are you doing?
Exactly. But he had an itch that needed to be scratched, apparently. But they're together now. She was on Instagram Live. They were on my interview like
He's
a week or
lucky,
two
is what
ago.
he is so lucky because she is wonderful.
Yes, yes. So now Bianca and Daniel, new couple,
New
introduced
couple.
this episode. Okay, so Bianca's packing, okay, because she's moving to Arizona because her man is getting out in a month.
Yeah.
Okay. She has rented an apartment, paid rent for 4 months up front, even though she doesn't have a clue what's going to happen,
Oh
whether
no.
Daniel's going to be able to parole, to her. Is he going to have to stay in the halfway house? Is he going to stay in the halfway house? but she's just throwing everything to the wind,
Oh
and
yeah,
she's
she said it.
gonna go to Arizona.
My man can't live in this state, then I'm gonna move. You go,
And that's
girl.
what she
Go
did.
get him.
So now their love story is a little bit unconventional. Okay.
It is.
Bianca had a really tragic car accident 8 months prior with her friend who was apparently driving drunk, went up the airport ramp, crashed into the wall. She fractured her back, her neck,
She broke her neck.
vertebrae. I mean, it was just horrible. She has an actually, she has a scar on her neck, which she's
Talk about it.
self-conscious about. And she had lost her voice for 4 months. She couldn't talk. Now, can you imagine not being able to talk? Because I know I fucking talk a lot. Not being able to talk for 4 months.
That had to be awful. But let me tell you, when I shed real tears with this girl talking about her trauma and how, she thought they could save each other. Like, I felt that to my core. I was crying real tears. Like, my girlfriend and I were watching and I was bawling. And then she's talking about, this is where I almost died. I lost it.
Yes.
This is not
That
usually a
was
show
like,
where I ugly cry, but I was ugly crying.
yes. That was an ugly cry moment. She drives over to the airport where she had the accident because she feels like she needs some type of closure. And she was starting to have a panic attack. I felt so bad for her. I wanted to reach to the TV and hug her.
I did
Right?
too. I was
It was
ugly.
it was okay. So
I'm excited to see this unfold though, because I know that so far it's looking like we're wanting to look at, she's got a lot of money.
yes, that concerns me. The money concerns me. There's two things about Bianca and Daniel that concern me so far, and I know it's early, okay, and I know with the editing and it gets very choppy. I'm concerned about the money, the large amount of money she has, and I'm concerned about her drinking while he's trying to live a sober life.
Well, I will say, like, if you've never been an addict, like, you don't fully understand the severity of what you can and can't do to trigger them. Because I didn't either. Like, Joey is a full-blown drug addict and has been our entire lives. I didn't understand the severity of something as simple as having a glass of wine.
Could trigger it. Yeah, it's true.
Because I've never had a problem. Like, I might drink twice this year.
Right.
I might not drink until 2 years from now.
And I get what Bianca was saying. She doesn't have a problem drinking, so she's not going to stop drinking just because Daniel wants her to. But like you said, you never know what could trigger him. And he's already admitted to relapsing.
Yeah, you don't. And I think that, as their story goes, maybe he'll be able to explain more about like what his triggers are and be able to have those conversations that they're going to need to have.
Exactly. So her roommate thinks that she's a little delusional and crazy.
All of our good friends think we're fucking up.
Her best friend tried to talk to Daniel on the phone, and just say, listen, Bianca's my best friend, or you're going to treat her right. You really need to live in your sober in your halfway house, because that's the other issue that I foresee being a problem. Daniel insisting that he's not going to stay at the halfway house, even if they tell him to.
Okay, on this one, I have to agree with Daniel. Like, most halfway houses, you can get more drugs than you can on the street. I went through this myself. Like, Joey did not go to a halfway house because I wanted him to have the best shot at being sober. And there's no drugs in my house.
Right.
So
right.
I didn't want to take the risk of a halfway house. So I understand where he's coming from there. He might be right there.
Okay. Okay, there we go. So she gets a phone call from his mom. She has a great relationship with Daniel's mom.
She's sweet.
Okay, but
and she even told her she loved her at the end.
The stepdad, however, is a little kooky. How mentally stable are you? Hence the title of the episode.
Thing that man said.
Right?
What the
hell? Hi. How mentally stable are you? What's your name, by the way?
I think I would have hung up. I wouldn't have been able to help it. I would have hung the damn phone up.
All right, like bye. So Bianca's a little worried. She's like, is this a potential red flag I need to look at? Because this is his male role model, someone who meets me for the first time and goes, "Hi, how mentally stable are you?"
Yeah, she might need to look into that because that family's rough. Like,
Yes.
when you don't get along with their family, everything else is downhill from there. I mean, it's a mess.
But I get what she was saying about reaching out to him when she was recovering from her accident, because she literally had no voice. And people may think it's crazy for her writing to someone who was convicted of a DUI, but I kind of get it because she was a victim of a DUI. So I
Yeah,
guess she wanted to understand the mindset of someone who would drink and drive and put other people's lives at risk.
100%.
So I get it why she would want to write somebody like that. And he helped her.
I mean, it would be somebody who is completely like objective, like just, hey, you have nothing to do with me. We have nothing tying us together. Like, help me out here and let me know what's going on. And I would almost bet there's no way she thought, I think I'm going to fall in love with this guy.
Yeah.
But when you
she
get
even
into
said
your
so
deepest,
herself.
darkest secrets, like, sometimes that happens.
Right. She said herself when she started writing, she wasn't thinking about romance or relationships or anything like that. She was in a hospital bed. She
Right.
just wanted, to make a connection, to talk to someone that wasn't connected to her case, because that was the other thing. You may say, well, why didn't she talk to the people around her? She couldn't because of all of the legal stuff
The
surrounding
legal
the case.
stuff, yeah, definitely the legal stuff. I mean, she couldn't. So
Right.
this way, and let's not be funny here, but who's he gonna tell?
Exactly. And yeah, I know he's all the way across the country in prison. Who is he going to tell? Very true. Got a point there, Kim. Got a point there. So let's see how this goes. She's on her way to Arizona, and shit, Florida's hot as fuck, but I know Arizona is 20 times hotter.
That's that dry heat.
Okay, yeah. So good luck in making it with the weather there.
She's a lot braver than I am because I would have never done it. I would have never moved that far away for a man that I'd never been with on this side of the fence.
I mean, a lot of the ladies on the show are brave. You guys are just brave. That's all I have to say.
Some of us are just crazy.
Yeah. 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 Definitely crazy. Mostly crazy. Okay, Leticia and Keith. So she's stressed. She's so stressed. Okay, she's so stressed because Keith's supposed to come home on immediate release. And to make a long story short, she makes a phone call to find out that basically the paralegal that they paid $1,000 to process and these papers, I don't know what the hell he did because Keith is not coming home.
$1,000, I would have been skeptical to start with because lawyer fees are just ungodly. And so for $1,000, I would have automatically been skeptical, but I would be pissed. Like, if this man promised me something, I'm not getting it.
This guy's a paralegal. I think Tish really should have, retained an attorney for something like this. I mean, a paralegal charging $1,000 saying, "Don't worry, Keith, we're going to get you out in a couple of days." Immediate release, Keith. Just $1,000 and I'll get you immediate release.
It sounds yucky. Like it.
Yeah, it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth, right? You're just like,
I would have never believed him to start with. I would have had to definitely 2 or 3 consults, like, before going through with that.
Yeah. So she's trying to call him, and of course he's not answering because
because he just took her money.
Right, because he just took her money. Okay,
he's not answering because he took her money and lied.
Yeah, basically. So he's not coming home, which is
Ugh, that's a killer.
upsetting.
That's awful. She was so excited.
Hmm. And she was so excited.
It's heartbreaking for her. Like,
Her little one was so excited to have daddy come home.
that's the worst part, is that baby was so excited.
Hmm. And now daddy's not coming home yet. And it's just fucked up.
It is. It's a terrible situation. And I
Oh,
hope she goes and finds that paralegal.
I was about to say,
And
but
if
that
she don't
guy
get her
Ben,
$1,000 back, I hope she takes it out of his ass.
that guy Ben, that better start answering her calls because she's gonna pull up on him. Okay, and we know Tish could go a little crazy, so that guy Ben better answer his damn phone. Okay, so anyway, we are leaving the best for last, like I said. So
It was a lot.
yes, it was a lot. This episode was very cute. Okay, when he met your boys and the Christmas Eve, that was and then his mom. See,
I love her.
unlike Troy with his mom, Joey with his mom, I was just like, oh,
Yes, I have been so fortunate in this mother-in-law that I have. Woo! Because I call her, in my previous marriage, I had a monster-in-law, and I've now gone from a monster-in-law. I call her my mother-in-love.
oh, that's so sweet.
She's precious.
So, okay, you guys go out on your first date, and
First official date, because all the rest of them we was sneaky links.
I was gonna say Joey started off as a revenge fuck back in 2018, basically, right?
He did. He did. I was dating my ex, and he was sleeping with a girl at the post office, where he was taking my packages because I had a business back then. He was taking my packages to the post office every day, and met up with this girl that he knew. It was a nightmare. And he, honestly, do you know when that man found out I cheated on him? Last night on the TV, because he never found out before that.
Your ex had no idea before that?
No clue.
Holy shit. And you busted yourself on national TV.
Yep. Made it 7 years without him finding out.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Kim.
Yep. He had absolutely no idea. That man thought I was faithful to the core.
And at the
Surprise.
time, right before Joey was coming out, he was trying to get you back, right?
Yes. He was a nightmare. He was a habitual cheater. It was awful. And he had an affair with his HR manager, and we ended up having to move away. So we moved like 3 hours away, and I couldn't take it anymore. I just couldn't take it anymore. He started like eating pills. He drank about a half a gallon every day. It was a nightmare. I lived in a nightmare. A living, breathing nightmare.
And he is the father of both of your boys?
He is.
Okay. So you started sneaking off with Joey, right?
I did. That was in 2018. After he cheated on me with the girl at the post office, it was like, well, all right. Joey sent me a message. He had just gotten out of prison at the end of January that year. And when he sent me a message, it was like, I mean, who's going to find out?
Right.
So, I mean, my ex would leave for work in the morning, and he left at like 4:00 in the morning because he was cheating on me too. Like, he was going to work and meeting girls on his way to work. So when he would leave, I would leave. And so at 4:00 in the morning, as soon as his car pulled out of the driveway, I go to Joey's.
You were right behind him pulling out of the driveway. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I wasn't working then. I was in school. So I would go to Joey's until it was time for me to go to class. I'd go to class for a couple hours, and then I'd go back to Joey's until it was time for him to come home from work.
Oh, Kim.
I wish I could say I felt bad, but after all the shit that man put me through, I don't.
It's a revenge fuck. Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
So
I actually left Joey in 2018 though because his ex-girlfriend kept messaging me, and she was like, he's on drugs. And I really don't think he was now in
Okay.
hindsight. She was telling me he was back on drugs and that he was selling dope and that he'd been messaging her, which was all a lie. But I somewhat tried, like, it was like she was trying to be a girl's girl. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I've known this girl forever, and I knew that she had dated him a really long time ago. So never in the world would I have figured she was still obsessed with him. She is to this day. Fuck.
Oh, you just can't get rid of them, right?
No, I can't get rid of the crazy bitches. So I left and found out I was pregnant. So it was good timing for me to go back to where I came from. Because
Right.
at that
Try
point,
to
it was
make
like,
it work,
okay.
right?
Yeah, I guess. So that was, I don't know. I ended up getting married like at the end of May. And by then, Joey was already back in prison.
And now I want to ask you about being a serial dater. Why do you, go from one relationship to the next to the next? Do you think you're capable of not being in a relationship for a little bit?
I think I am capable, but I'm just going to be honest with you. Like, I have the kind of personality that people are drawn to. And I'm a catch. I just am. Like,
Yeah.
I cook, I clean, I'm not mean to people. I get along with most people's families, most except for my ex, because they were something else.
Kimberly
But
said, I know how to cook. That's a plus.
right?
Because
I
there's
mean,
a
there
lot
are
of
a lot
kids
of women
that
now
don't
that
know how
don't
to
cook.
Damn right. Damn
But
right.
I mean, I had a boyfriend in kindergarten, and I literally was 5 years old.
That's what I'm saying, girl.
Everybody made that shit so ugly on there. They're like, she's a hoe. Okay, that does not mean I had sex with everybody I dated. But if I didn't like this one, I'd pick a different one. Because somebody was going with me on Friday night to the movies, and I wasn't going by myself.
You're damn right. You always needed your plus one, right? So you made
Right?
sure you always had a plus one.
I mean, it was always by choice. Like, I would be single, but there would be 400 people in my inbox. And it's like, well, he wants to take me to dinner. Okay.
And yeah, why the hell not? A free dinner. Why not? So, well,
And
one
honestly,
man,
like, I was in a 7-year relationship with my ex. And then before that, my other my ex-husband before the last husband, I mean, that was about 3 years. And then I was with a guy for 7 years. So, I mean, it's not like it's like monthly. You know what I mean? Like, I've been
right?
in
It's like a
long-term,
long relationship.
I've been in
Well,
long-term relationships my whole life.
it's Billy Fox says that you are adorable, so I could see
Well, thanks.
why you've been in relationships back to back. So, girl, you were self-conscious about the mom bod.
Whoa. I am so
Let's
self-conscious
talk
about
about that, okay? Because when you were doing your little flingy dingy with Joey back in 2018,
I
and
was
then
so cute back then. I was so cute. I had my body in shape. And I remember what outfits I wore. Like, I would strategically pick out like tight shit to wear to his house in the mornings with my cute tight ass leggings. Like, I was good to go.
making
And
sure the
now,
boobies were lifted
right?
all the way up, right?
And now, like, I've had 2 kids. I had 2 C-sections. I went through a nightmare of a marriage. So I probably put on, I don't know, 70 pounds, which I've lost 45 of it. And I did that before I started seeing him. But the cameras don't show that for real, though.
Of
Let me
course
tell you.
not, because they put 50 pounds on you.
Jesus.
And the angle like this.
No,
That is
shit.
such a love after lockup angle right there. Oh, yes.
I'm over
Yeah.
here like, y'all, I don't have to hold my phone like way up to do the pictures. Like, this is cuter, but I can do a straightforward face, and that third chin that they have managed to put on me is not there. See? It's not there.
No, it's not. It's really not. But when they're doing, I
But
can
when they
see
get me like this, it's like,
everybody has 4 chins when they get you like that.
Jesus. I
Oh
was
my
like, can y'all
goodness.
please send, after I saw the first promo, I literally like texted my producer and was like, can you please, for the love of everything holy, bring me tall cameramen?
The taller, the better, please.
Please.
Oh my goodness. I need Shaq as my cameraman, okay? Shaq would be perfect.
Right? God,
So,
I can't help I'm tall.
exactly. Well, Joey said the sex was great. The sex was great, and you guys did it raw. Okay. And that seems like an ongoing theme
Fuck.
this
Why did he
season.
have to put? I did not know that was on television until you guys saw it last night. I was like, "What did you really say that?"
Don't worry. You guys did it raw. Julian and Christine did it raw.
She cracked me up.
I mean, so that seems to be a recurring theme. So, he spends $318 in the toy store. Let's talk about this.
Let's talk about it. Do you know what day that was? Christmas Eve. So being the mama that I am, Christmas was done. Like I had already done all that. So he goes in the toy store after Christmas is done and spends $300 and some. I'm trying not to lose my shit because he's only been out of prison for a day. So I'm like, do I really want to start a fight right now? Like, I really didn't tell him how much he could spend. But what that did was give me the preface, like, from now on, you need to tell him how much he can spend.
Reddit Lane wants to know, why didn't you go into the store with him?
Well, I mean, he said he wanted to go by himself. Like to show him,
Kim, did you move away from your hotspot? I'm losing you again.
I didn't.
You're freezing
Is that
up.
better?
Oh, there we go. That's better.
Am I freezing?
Okay. No, you're better. No, you're better.
Oh.
Okay. So he wanted to do it all by himself. And
he wanted to show me that, like,
really
he knew
expensive.
that, like, he had paid attention and knew what to get him. Like, he was just trying to show me. I listen because he's talked to them for, months and months and months. He's FaceTime. Like, we did video visits with him. Like, he's seen them. He's talked to them. He talked to them a lot. He wanted to prove, like, I know them well enough to get them stuff and you not help me.
But he just spent over $300 doing it, and you wanted to slap him, but you didn't.
I didn't. It was on the one hand, it was for my kids, so whatever.
Right. He's like, whatever. But, girl, so you guys get home, the kids come in. Tell me about that moment.
I think they had waited for it for so long that it was almost like a moment of, like, wonderment. Like, holy shit, he's real.
It's just not some dude on the phone, right?
Yeah. Like, he's real. Because they had only ever seen, those pictures of him and I, like, from our engagement. They saw those pictures, and then they saw the pictures of his mom with me. Because those were the only pictures we had taken while he was in prison. And, I mean, we clearly couldn't take pictures before when we were together because we weren't supposed to be together.
Exactly.
That's how you get caught.
The guys were a sneaky dinky.
Yeah, that's how you get caught. I don't get caught.
Right. Exactly. Oh, my
Unless
goodness.
I decide to put it on national television and then I get caught.
Then you get caught 7 years later.
Shit.
Those matching Christmas PJs. Too
He
cute.
was not tickled about that.
He didn't like them.
He was like, babe, you for real? Like, I really have to wear these? And I'm like, the boys are expecting you to wear matching pajamas. Sorry.
Like, you have to. You have no choice.
Yeah.
All right, girl, I have to ask you about your cousin.
Everybody has asked me about my cousin.
Okay, girl. Now, I get it. You were, you guys were teenagers.
Yes, we were teenagers, and I thought everybody knew. Like, I thought everybody knew that I had the biggest crush on him for ever and ever and ever. Amen. Because, I mean, our parents were friends. We've literally known each other since we were 3. I can remember going to his house and not being able to see over the top of the car, like looking at the pond on the way to his house. That's how long I've known him. And
Oh,
all my friends knew. Like, all my friends knew I liked him. He lived next door to my best friend, like, growing up. So, I mean, we used to wait until all our parents were asleep and we'd all sneak out and, like, trample through the neighborhoods. And
okay.
he'd always be
I
outside
get that,
screaming.
but why did you wait so
I,
long to tell your cousin about what
well,
happened back then?
well, back then I thought she knew that I liked him when she started dating him. So I was pissed off at her anyway. And
Okay,
I don't, I did not invite him to my house that night. I'm not even sure. And he doesn't remember either, like why he just showed up by himself. But he did. And it is what it is.
okay,
And after that,
exactly.
like,
It is what it is, and all these years passed, and you never thought to mention to your cousin, like, by the way, I fucked up when I was 15, and Joey and I did everything, but
how do you have that conversation? You know what I mean? Like all these years, they weren't together anymore, and I wasn't with him either. So what did I really need to tell her? I'm a like secrets to the grave kind of bitch.
girl, I guess you are. I guess you
But at
are.
this point,
But
like,
then you had no choice but to tell her because Joey was coming out.
well, I had to tell her because at this point, like, we are gonna be together. And
Right,
if
exactly.
somebody else told her that, like, I didn't want that to come from anybody but me. And for he and I to have a real happy relationship, like, we had to be honest about everything. Everything he had done, everything I had done, like, all the dirty shit had to come out. And so to have a clear conscience and a non-toxic relationship, which I'm not used to, like, it all just had to come out.
Right.
And
Okay.
I got a lot of shit for it, and I felt better that she heard it from me.
Is she still mad at you? Does she forgive
Mhm.
you? Okay. Okay, cool. So as long as she's not mad, that's all that matters, right?
Right.
So your daddy. I love your daddy. He's so supportive, even though he's not crazy about this whole idea. I want to talk about the dirt bike.
God, this damn dirt bike suck.
Yes, the damn dirt bike. Daddy is not letting go of the dirt bike.
No, this
What
dirt bike
happened?
belonged to my brother.
Okay.
So we went out. I don't know. I think it might have been the 4th of July. Like, I almost remember this. I was probably 17 years old. So my
Okay.
brother had 13. And we went out and it just literally went missing. And whoever took it came to our house and went in our garage because there was no other way to get to that back like gate where it was at. So they had to go
Right.
through our garage to go out there to get it. He swears it was Joey because somebody told him. Like,
And he is holding on to that grudge 20 something years later. He doesn't,
I've tried
but
to
he's
explain
still,
to him though, like where we are in our relationship, like Joey would tell me, like, I believe that shit. He has told me a lot of shit that I was not happy with. That
okay.
would be the least of my damn worries at this point.
All
So
right. A
he
dirt
would just
bike from
tell
20
me.
something years ago. Right.
He would just tell me. I believe he would just tell me, and we could be like, you know what? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you've done so much other shit. It's just, let's add it to the list, right?
Right?
Right. Just add it to the list. So, what annoys the shit out of you about Joey? Like, is there one particular aspect of his
Nothing
mannerisms?
is ever a big deal.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay.
Nothing's ever a big deal. Just like, I'm trying to have a real conversation. Like, you've never met him. Are you nervous? And he's like, hey, kids are like dogs. Like,
Exactly. I can't believe he fucking said that. Kids are like dogs. You just play with them and they like, no, they're not.
no, they're not. I promise dogs are a lot easier to keep alive.
Yes, definitely they are. Yes. Oh my goodness.
But he just like, and I know he was joking, but at the same time, like, it just plays to the fact that, like, he doesn't take anything serious. Like, he's not good with, like, serious emotions. And I don't know if that comes from being institutionalized. Like, he spent so much time, like, having to hide his emotions
Right.
that he has a hard time coming out with any of them.
I could see that. Yeah. I could
Because
see
he's
that.
so just straight across the board. Like, no, it's not a big deal. It's all good. It's going to be fun. And I'm over here like, what if they don't like him? What if they don't like him? What if he doesn't like them?
Right, exactly.
Because if he doesn't like
Exactly.
them,
I
he's
mean,
got to go.
so
They don't like
so
him,
many
he's got to go.
so many unknowns. It's like, yeah. Meanwhile, he's like, oh, kids are just like dogs.
Yes. In that car on the way back, like, it was a really good ride, and like that whole scene was funny, but I was literally about to have a nervous breakdown because my whole life was about to change and I was not sure what that looked like yet. Like, I had hoped that everybody would mesh well, but I didn't know. And
So how did it feel once everyone did mesh well and you had that wonderful Christmas Eve night?
did you see him with my babies on that first night? Oh my God. I mean, he's holding them up, putting ornaments on the tree. Like, we got home late, so we didn't even get to bake cookies. We had to have the 10 cookies we had to pick up on the way home. We were running late that day. So, I mean,
Store-bought cookies for Santa.
that's right. They'll never remember that, but I will, because I was like, shit, we don't have time to bake cookies. Like, we were 4 hours away and had to drive back home for Christmas Eve. It is what it is. So we made it work. They didn't know the difference, but
Exactly. So I bet you were really relieved. You were like, oh,
I was.
goodness.
It was wonderful. Like, it was the best feeling just to not have to be worried about whether or not my kids were going to adjust well, because I could tell on the very first night that we were going to be fine.
Kim, what advice would you give to a young woman that's in a relationship with someone who's incarcerated?
Hang on tight. It's going to be a wild ride. I'm not really sure. At this point, I don't think I would ever do it again. Like, that was the hardest shit I've ever been through. Like, not knowing whether or not he's okay. Like, if he was on lockdown, or if he could call, or if he couldn't call, or if I didn't hear from him for a day, whether or not he was okay. And then, like, all the money that he had to have, like, the money was awful. And it was constant, because
What
Joey's
do you say to those that are like, you're crazy? You're a teacher's assistant, 2 kids, and you're sending all this money to a guy in prison.
I agree with you. I am crazy as hell. Also, fortunately, I sold a house last year. That's the only
Okay,
reason I had the money to send Joey.
there we go.
Because
And
on
there
my
we go.
salary, that would have never happened. I wouldn't have had enough money to pay my own bills, much less send money. But I sold a house last year, and I did send him some of that money because, honestly, like, I needed him to do the right thing. And if he had to hold stuff that he wasn't supposed to, or if he had to gamble, or whatever he had to do to make money in there, like, there was a chance if he got caught, like, he was going to be in there longer.
Right.
So I made the choice. I made that choice. So whatever.
Yeah. A bunch
I
of
did what I had to
unknowns.
do to keep him from having to do what he wasn't supposed to be doing.
There you go. There you go. Keep him out of trouble. So we're only on episode 4, and we see that you're coming back next season. Okay. How has the social media feedback been for you?
Well, so we started out with the first episode, and the biggest issue was I should listen to my dad. I don't care about my kids, and I spent too much money on this man. I do listen to my dad. I do respect my dad, but my daddy also loves me enough to let me fuck up and pick up the pieces after. And he always has.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Sometimes you got to do that. You just got to step back and let your kids make mistakes, right?
And I love my
No,
children
you
more
don't
than
want
anything
to.
in this world. I went through hell and back to ensure that I have full custody of my children. And there is nothing I wouldn't do for them. So for people who don't think I care about my kids, that's just crazy talk. And I've had a lot of questions about, me moving an inmate straight in with me. And on a normal basis, like, if I didn't know this man, absolutely not, I would not. But I have spent years with his parents, like his mom. We're so close, and we have been. Like I was going to family functions with his family last year. Like before
Wow.
he,
Okay.
I mean, we're close. Like we are close, close. So it's not one of those things like I moved a stranger into my house with my kids. I moved a man that I know has an issue into my house, but we've eliminated that issue because he's been locked up long enough that that's not an issue. So yeah, it was a trying time, and it was a very hard decision, but it was one that's why I know about the halfway house, because originally he was supposed to go to a halfway house.
Okay.
But if he had gone to a halfway house, I don't know that he would have stayed sober. Like I don't know that that was possible.
Um, watching back the show where you have your little watch parties with your friends and everything, has there been like one particular scene that you're like, wait a second, I don't remember it happening that way. It might have been edited or patched together, and you want to clear up a misconception?
Yes. So
Okay,
I
talk to me, girl.
did not start talking to him in 2020. I had a whole ass baby in 2020. That did not happen.
Okay, there
I
we
was
go.
married and had a whole ass baby in 2020. I was not talking to Joey. So Joey tried to talk to me the whole time he was in there. I changed my phone number in 2019 so that he couldn't call me. Because I was trying to do the right thing. I was married. Once I got married, I was faithful to that man until I left him. And I changed my number. I disappeared. I mean, I would get messages on Facebook and it would be like, my uncle's brother's cousin's mama was locked up with Joey and he wants your number. Like just random ass people. And I'm like, oh my God.
My third cousin on my mama's
Yes.
side.
It was like, because sometimes it would just be like my boyfriend or my husband. Then it would be like my cousin's husband, my uncle's brother. Like, what the fuck? Stop
Oh
giving
my,
people my name to look me up.
oh my God, that is fucking hysterical. So when did you start talking to him?
I started talking to Joey again in 2022.
And
2023.
how did you guys hook up?
Honestly,
How
he had a friend of his. He mailed his friend a letter,
your
and
mama's cousin on the third side?
his friend went to school with me, so he knew me. So
Okay,
his friend got on Snapchat and added me. And I
okay,
guess they knew like they couldn't send it to my messages because they knew I was married. So he had his friend Snapchat me a picture of that letter so that only I could see it and it would go away if I wanted it to.
okay,
And it was a
okay.
whole ass letter about how he missed me, he loved me, he just wanted to check on me. He was worried because he hadn't heard from me in like fucking 3 years.
You fucking vanished.
I did vanish. And yeah, it was at the time, like it was probably not the grandest of timing because I was still married, but I was in the process of leaving. I was working on a way out. My ex had already gotten a DUI and he was on drugs. He'd had like 4 more affairs. And I just needed to figure out what to do to get home. And at first I thought, you know what, I'll just wait until I leave. Like, because I don't want to do anything to make where I will feel guilty.
Right,
But
right.
then he called one day and it was like, hey.
Like,
And
hello
everything, like
there.
all the feelings from, years, like that's 4 years, 4.5 years, like 4.5 years. It didn't go away. Like the
So
butterflies were
what
still
was
there.
it about that first conversation that just
Um, no, it wasn't the first conversation because at first, like, I was very standoffish. Like, I was still married. I was still trying not to cross any lines. Like, I wanted him to know that I was okay and I was checking on him and, like,
right,
you can call, but I'm still here. And I think he was worried because he could tell something was wrong.
right.
But
Okay.
that continued on for a little while. Like, and he would check on me like once a week or once every couple weeks until finally one day I was like, guess what I did today? And he's like, what? And I'm like, I left. I packed my shit and I left.
And he's like, "Oh, why, hello there. And now you're single."
And literally, like 2 weeks later, I went to the prison to see him. That was the first time I
Okay.
had seen him since 2018. And It's been going strong ever since. He proposed to me 2 months later. And I don't know how this man sweet talks everybody, but you are not supposed to go in or come out with anything at the prison. Nothing. I went in with nothing. I came out with a gold wedding band, flowers, and a card,
Oh
and a damn
wow.
dream catcher. And they let me leave with all that shit.
Oh wow. That's
Like
nice.
he went through the warden and told him that he wanted to propose to me, and he did.
Oh,
Yep. Paid a
that is
CO off, got a
sweet.
ring and everything.
So going back to True, what True is saying, how important do you think it is to visit your man in prison?
I do think it's important, but I think it's important that the communication is there. Like, if that's something he felt like he needed, he should have told her that.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
Joey was very upfront when he said, "Will you come here? Like, are you coming to see me? I want to see your face. Like, I want to hold your hands."
There you go. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, let's see. I'm gonna have a 8 and a 10-year-old, and I'll probably be crazy.
Yeah, probably.
In 5 years, I would like to see myself, um, maybe married in a bigger house, maybe with another kid, maybe,
Okay. Okay. That was going to be my next question. More children, maybe?
maybe. Not
Maybe.
sure, but maybe. Definitely maybe. How about that?
Yeah. Definitely maybe. We'll see how things turn out. So
Definitely maybe.
before I let you go, do you have a message for the fans? And don't worry, Kimberly will be back. It's still early in the season, and she's coming back for next season. So don't worry, she will be back in the future. But do you have
I'll be
anything that you want to
back.
say?
Um, for the fans, like, for all the support, I love you guys and thank you. And for the people who are so hard on all of us, like, we're people too. Like, we are real life people with real life problems. And how would you feel if that was you that you were saying that about?
Be
Because
kind.
we do read some of these comments. And I mean, some
Yes.
of them are funny. Like, some of the shit is funny. Like, I died laughing when I saw the one that was like,
Oh, I think you just froze again. Oh, Kim, come. Wait. I'm losing you. You may need to move a little bit. You're still frozen,
I think
girl.
I got too far from my
There,
hotspot again.
there you go. Okay. Okay,
Okay.
so you're a person
So
too.
some of the comments are, yeah, some of the comments are funny, but some of them are just over the line. Like, I've read some really ugly stuff about the episode last night about some of the new cast members. Like, they're just
Which
ruthless.
was the funny
You guys
comment?
be
You were saying that you were reading this one funny comment or something before you
Oh, the
froze.
funny one. She's shaped like an ice cream cone, and his hips beat him out the gate. Like, I love his hips. Y'all leave him alone.
His baby making hips. I've seen them talk about his baby making hips.
And they are giving him hell about his hips. He has always had big hips. I love his big ass hips. I need somewhere to sit. I told y'all I'm a big girl.
And something to grab onto, right? Even better, right?
Yeah.
The
Y'all leave that
hell?
man's hips alone. No,
All
but
right. And you were just
for
saying
the
about a
fans,
really
like,
mean.
take it with a grain of salt, because there's a lot of things that you see that you don't know the whole story to.
Exactly.
And a lot of
Editing.
times, if you guys would just ask us, we'll tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am
Just
an open
ask.
book. Hit my Instagram and I'll spill it all. I'm like, what do you want to know?
Just ask. Just ask.
Yeah,
And she'll
just ask.
tell you. So, all right, girl. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me here
I had
tonight.
so much fun.
Me too.
And yes, we're going to bring you back in the future as your story unfolds.
Yeah,
So we
maybe
can
next time
talk
he can
about
come with
him.
me.
Yeah. Maybe we can have him with you next time.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
I'll have to put my hand over his mouth a lot because he's says
I
some
think a
really
lot of men are
crazy
like,
shit.
oh no, it's okay. He could say whatever crazy shit he wants to say. But yeah, I think it'll be
I
a
mean,
lot of fun.
hadn't he already done that? I never use protection. I'm like, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
And then
He
he's like,
never,
she just gets off with me. I'm like, did you have to tell the fucking world?
of course he has to brag. Girl,
Shit.
they all gotta brag.
Well, they all know.
Right, exactly. All right, girl. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody, for
Have a
sticking
great
with us and through our technical difficulties, but we did it. Yay.
Yeah!
Yay. Yay. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Before I forget to tell you, I will be on vacation starting this coming Thursday until the following Wednesday. So my Love After Lockup recap. I won't be doing it next weekend, but I'll be doing it. Thank you so much, guys, for watching me. Thank you, Kim, for joining me. Have a good night, everybody.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.